Hey, what's up, YouTube, and welcome back to Coffee Shop Chatter. I'm Mr. Controversy. So, before we get started, as always, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if this is your first time here. And if you're a repeat offender and been here and haven't subscribed, just go ahead and subscribe. As always, I said, hit the like button just to get the, video into the algorithm and comment at the end. So, elect, well, throw that shit out the window. President Trump. They say he plans on taxing, increasing the tariffs by 20% or maybe 25%. China, Canada, Mexico. China is the only country that's come back and is like, hey, we don't want to do this whole tariff war. It's not going to be good for nobody. Automatically, let's come to the table. Canada, said what they had to say pretty much the same thing. They're going to come back to the table. However, you got good old Mexico, who got a woman president in there. It's gonna be a problem. But I'm gonna go ahead and play this video and see what her response was about, them getting taxed the additional 25%.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. We're going to take you back out to this breaking news that we brought you here just about a few moments ago, that President Claudia Sheinbaum said today that Mexico could retaliate with tariffs of its own after U.S. President-elect Donald Trump threatened to impose 25% import duties on Mexican goods if the country doesn't stop the flow of drugs and migrants across the border. Sheinbaum said she was willing to engage in talks on the issues, but said drugs were a U.S. problem. We do have a quote from Sheinbaum. This was her referring to U.S. automakers that have plants on both sides of the border. Here's what she says, quote, "One tariff would be followed by another in response, and so on until we put at risk common businesses," end quote. She said today that Mexico had done a lot to stem the flow of migrants. She said, quote, "Caravans of migrants are no longer reaching the border." However, Mexico's efforts to fight drugs like deadly synthetic opioid fentanyl, which is manufactured by Mexican cartels using chemicals imported from China, have weakened in the last year. Sheinbaum said Mexico suffered from an influx of weapons smuggled in from the United States and said the flow of drugs is, quote, "a problem of public health and consumption in your country's society." She also criticized the U.S. for spending on weapons, saying the money should instead be spent regionally to address the problem of migration. Again, if you are just joining us here on Live Now from Fox, bringing you this breaking news that Mexico has suggested it would impose its own tariffs to retaliate against any Trump tariffs. Again, President Claudia Sheinbaum saying today that they would retaliate with tariffs of their own after President-elect Donald Trump threatened to impose 25% import duties on Mexican goods if the country doesn't stop the flow of drugs and migrants across the border. Again, we'll keep you updated here on Live Now from Fox. If we learn anything more, of course,
So, first of all, I'm gonna say this. Lady, the drugs is your damn problem. The drugs is coming from Mexico, which is the cartel, and I get she's not gonna do nothing because she's scared. If she says something about what they're going to do, I'm gonna tell you the cartel's gonna take her ass out. Plain and simple. That's why she ain't gonna do nothing. That's it. Now, when you talk about tariffs and she talking about reversing tariffs, you need the United States. I believe, let's see, 2022. This is the amount of imports that the US dollars that we take in from Mexico, which means this is the money they're receiving. 2022, $455 billion. 2023, $476 billion. I can go back to 2021, $385 billion. The next country is China at 9%. China only imports 9% of their goods from Mexico, which means 70%, I think it was like 70%, 80% of our imports that we get is from Mexico. They pretty much they export 80% of their goods to the U.S. So what that means, we can cut your ass off. I think what we need to start doing is, because farmers in the U.S. are being paid to not grow stuff. I think all the farmers need to get with agriculture within the U.S., sit at the table, and say, "Hey, we're importing this from Mexico. We're importing this from Mexico. We're importing this from Mexico. What we're going to do is we want you to grow these crops on your farm, and you break that shit down, spread it out. Let these farmers make the money. The U.S. pays them instead of what we's paying Mexico, and in turn, these farmers actually pay U.S. citizens an actual real wage, and find people that want that what mind coming out there. Because if we're paying 476 billion dollars just for last year, and you transcribe that money over to our farmers and spread it out to where they're making more money, but make it to where it's written on paper of, hey, this is the minimum wage you're going to be allowed to pay somebody. You will get people to come out there because they'll be making probably more money than what they're making where they're at. And mostly when your tomatoes, your avocados, a lot of stuff you can get from just keep it in the southern states that can grow it. Texas, hot as hell. I'm pretty sure you can grow some avocados in Texas. Tomatoes can be grown anywhere. If you want year round, oh, Texas. You have Louisiana. Mexico is not the only place we can get our stuff from, ma'am. Because you scared you don't want to do nothing with with your cartel because it's our problem. And oh, by the way, kill fucking work visas. Kill it. No more work visas. Don't allow them to come in, because what some of them do is they're allowed to come into the U.S., work, but they have to be back in Mexico, back across that border by a certain time, or they lose it. You kill that off. You start making these darn hotels pay actual wages, because that's how they keep in their pockets fat. They have them come over there and they pay them nickels on the dime or pennies on a nickel, whatever how that shit goes. They paying them pennies. So you make it to whereas now they have to hire people that's in the U.S. and you stop 100% of everybody from coming through that border. No more damn coming through for some dog on asylum. What you do is you can do it through app. You can still keep the app thing, or you can set up stations, an office in Mexico, Venezuela, whatever. They pick up the packets, they fill it out, they turn it in, and it goes through their process, and they're not allowed to leave their country. If they leave their country and they show up at their fucking border and sneak their way in, all you gotta do is create a whole biometrics database. Same thing we use when we was in Iraq and Afghanistan, where you scan people's faces and they tell you exactly who you are. You scan them, you put them in a database, you get their information. If they have a damn application that come in because they already tried sneaking illegally, you deny them. They try coming again, you arrest them. You put them in jail, and then after they serve their time, you fly their butts back to their country. Easy fix. But she's gonna give them and try to buck up, and she don't know. She has more to lose than we do. Everybody talking about how the price of things gonna go up. No, it's not. We just import it from somebody else. It's not that hard. Because just like when we was drilling within the US, gas was cheaper, which means truckers can drive more because gas is cheaper. So now your truckers are also making money, but it's cheaper to transport because fuel is cheaper. But hey, that's all I got. I want to know what you think about this whole beef that's probably about to go on. It ain't gonna last that long between President Trump and President of Mexico. China is smart, and that's the difference right off the bat between a man in charge and a woman in charge. He's got emotional about what she's gonna do and what she ain't gonna do. But you look at the two men on the other side and it's like, hey, we can sit down, come to the table, and talk about it. Do do some type of negotiation. Not her right off the bat. Oh, well, they tariff us, we're gonna tariff them back, and it's gonna be even hard. That's not how you do fucking business, lady. Hence is why a lot of men don't want women running a country because they get emotional, just like she did. Not all of them, but she's one of them. So that's all I got. Like I said, I'd like to know what you think. So get in the comments, and whether you agree or disagree, I'd like to know.